I now, as you know, am from iEarn, International Education and Resource Network, and we firmly believe, as does the NEA, that the key to our children's futures is in fact being able to engage effectively with the world. And so we have a tagline, as you can see. You put that up? You can't see? Learning with the world and not just about it. And I'm going to go back a little down into the classroom level. You know, I'm the kind of person who loves to do workshops for people who say, well, how can I actually use this on Monday morning? And so we'll go from the policy down to the classroom level a little bit. And so in general, our philosophy for the last 22 years has been that students will learn better when they're engaged collaboratively with real students on real issues that make some difference in their own life, but also in the world. Second, that they'll become global citizens, recognizing that the way to deal with the world's issues is in fact to work together, because you've been doing that since you were age 5. And third, in fact, you will learn much more you'll learn the world by working actually with other students and not just about it. And so as you heard earlier, some of the stats, we've created quite a global community of educators who get the vision that technology can be used to enhance teaching and learning about and with the world. So today we work with about 2 million kids a day, as you heard, in 40,000 K-12 schools. 3,000 of those are in the United States, folks. 3. And there are 136,000 schools in our country. So we got some ways to go yet, and we're working on that. They're also working in 30-some different languages on projects that are curriculum-based. And I'm not going to read this list. We use almost every tool possible in technology that's available in classes in a safe and secure environment. The kids are working collaboratively, and teachers are working collaboratively all over the world. The last point I'd like to stress a little bit, though, is that in order to be inclusive, because we predate the web by a number of years, we learned early on that you needed to combine a number of push-pull technologies if you're really meaningfully going to involve people that don't have a great deal of access. And so if you have 24/7 broadband and you can work on the web, you can do anything on our network all over the world. But if you have access to a cyber cafe once a month, somewhere in the community, you can also do anything on our network. And for us, that's really important, because if the technology itself becomes a marginalizing force, then we will not be attaining our own goals. And I think that's one of the main reasons that we can be so large and in so many different countries. So there's a website, basically a database of all the projects, interactive spaces, we'll look at that in a minute, and a gallery of youth-produced media. But how does it work? So in our collaboration center, students and teachers are engaged collaboratively directly, as you can see on the right-hand side, if it's not too small, all the languages that are involved. We also have 300 spaces then for kids to work together in a safe environment. We also have places for teachers to work. And as you can see, no, you can't. There's one that's just generally for teachers. All over the world, teachers are looking to connect with other educators to take them out of the isolation of wanting to engage their kids with the world. And so I love this snapshot of the web page, the interactive forum space, because not that you can see it so well, but if it's a beautiful array of flags. So whenever anybody, a student or a teacher, posts something in our network, the flag of their country goes up. And so here's just a very quick snapshot to make real the fact that this is truly international engagement. You can't see the flags, but they're Azerbaijan, Japan, I mean, they're all over the world. And it's a visual representation of how teachers and students are today actually doing this. You don't actually have to reinvent it. I'm going to share some lessons learned over the years. And one is that this is not easy to do. Global competency takes a lot of work and engagement and collaboration. Oftentimes, teachers are not taught how to collaborate with the teacher next door. And now we're talking educational systems, different time zones, languages, cultures, and with a new technology. So professional development of educators is incredibly important. And we do that both online and face-to-face. We develop online courses for other organizations like the Fulbright program, or in this case, the OAS, or for the NEA. And so NEA members, we have designed a course, or one of our courses has been submitted to NEA for certification improvement for social studies. And so these 8-week courses are designed to bring educators to the point where they can use technology, because they're doing it collaboratively with their cohorts all over the world in the course, and engage their students in collaborative project-based learning. We also have, we're asked all the time, where's the beef? You know, you got kids working, but really does it work? Do they actually learn anything? There have been 7 PhD dissertations on our network so far. And at this website at the top, you can have access to all the various books and articles and PhD dissertations and research, because we have to demonstrate that this actually enhances student performance and teachers' teaching. The second lesson is you've got to respect the local. If you create a centralized structure and tell everybody what to teach, it's not going to work very far. And so in all of our iEarn projects, they come from teachers, educators all over the world, saying, I'm teaching physics, and here's a project that I would like to have some partners all around the world on. And so that's a bottom-up representation of the teachers being the experts in this field, and they design the projects and bring them to the attention of others. And so here's an example, for example, that we work with Adobe on, called Adobe Youth Voices. And students around the world and teachers decide what kind of issues they want to do, and they produce videos and animation. So they go through all the processes that you would go through in a class of writing the script, interviewing people in the community, editing sound, and then they produce a video that means something to them, that they can show in their community about the issue that they are passionate about. And if I can click on it, there it is. Whoops. Whoops. There's a little bit of sound. So students, I don't need to tell you, but students do an amazing work when they're given the tools and the motivation. And so students in India were working with kids in the United States and other countries on deforestation and reforestation issues, producing PSAs that can be shown in their community to educate their community members. The third lesson is that this actually works in terms of teaching and learning enhancement. And I'm going to look at some of the projects just briefly. There are 300 and more coming every day. One looks at carbon footprints, climate change, has students engage in collaborating in measuring their footprint, sharing those and comparing those results internationally, exploring collaborative solutions, fitting in obviously into science, math, environmental studies, geography, community service. And in addition, if you look at this list, most of the calculators around the world are from North America. And so they ask students, well, how many pools do you have? I mean, how big is your yard? All those kinds of things that, of course, mean very little around the world. And so we sent this calculator out to our coordinators all over the world and said, well, if your students were going to answer these questions, what would the possible answers be? And back come the responses that, well, our students go by horse or donkey or by rickshaw. And so even by the options that students have to answer the questions on measuring their footprint, students learn geography, they learn socioeconomic issues all over the world just simply by looking and taking this calculator. They also compare their country and how many worlds it would take to maintain the lifestyle they have, and then they engage each other in collaborative discussions on how they can make a difference and change that lifestyle. Bridge of generations. On the West Bank in Palestine, the young people recognized that their grandparents and other elderly folks in the community were losing contact with their family members and their friends because of the diaspora and because of the inability to transport or to travel to much of the other parts of the West Bank. And so the students themselves said, what if we teach them some technology so that they can bridge and maintain relationship and community with their loved ones, their family members, and their friends all over the world. And so they went to the elderly and taught them Skype, taught them various kinds of technology. And I love this photo because look at the hand on top of the other hand. It's really young people guiding and working with older folks. Mali dolls. Mali didn't have a lot of resources, but they had a lot of incredible cultural background, amazing art. And so they said, we can make an incredibly beautiful dolls out of recycled products. And if you work with us, we can share our culture, and we can also gain from you if you market our dolls in your country, bringing computers to their schools. So it was a joint venture. It was a French language project, budgeting, all of those things that go into a regular high school courses. And Teddy Bear, I don't have time to show it. If you go to us.iearn.org, you'll find all the videos of the students have produced about exchanging bears, kids writing in the journal of the bear from the perspective of the bear about what they're experiencing as they get shifted to another country. So the teddy bear gets sent to another country and attends that class all year. Kids are interacting online, but they're also using their reading and writing skills every night to share what that bear is going through. All the cross-cultural issues come out, all the reading and writing. But you know, whatever the Web 2 technologies are, it's really, in our experience, what's important is the people. And I believe that, and I'm going to try something with you. I have 12 faces up there. Without talking to the person next to you, and I realize it's going to be tough, come up with a number of people you recognize. Who are these faces without talking to anyone next to you? Come up with a number. How many do you recognize? Everybody got a number? Okay. When I say the number, well, I'm going to count from 1 up and see how long you can keep your hands up, okay? So those of you who know at least one person up there. 2, 3, 4, 5, hands are coming down. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Now I want you to spend a few seconds talking to the persons next to you. Who do you know in common? Who are these folks up there? He was. Yeah. No, not going back. No, I'm sorry. It's back. From South Africa. All right. All right. All right. My first observation that it's hard to stop you. And the second observation is you may be having fun. And my third observation would be that if you held your hands up now based on that collective wisdom, you would be able to hold them longer up. And that's the philosophy of our network, that there is wisdom everywhere in the world, in our students, in students all over the world, in all of you, and educators everywhere. And if the power of that collaboration can be brought together in project work, the students' learning is enhanced, as well as our students' learning is enhanced, as well as those all over the world, preparing them for the 21st century. And you would shoot me if I didn't show you this. All right, is there a name that's not there that you don't recognize? Somebody shouted, somebody said Thabo Mbeki. Who is Thabo Mbeki? All right. And if I went down this list on the ones you don't know, you would prove my point that in this room, the collective knowledge about the world is obviously a lot more than any one of us as individuals. And so that's the way we work. And what if every school in the United States wasn't somehow connected with another school or somewhere in the world? And we're launching an initiative in November to try to make that happen with the Department of State, Department of Education, and look forward to an announcement on that. And so you can register to participate at that website. And I actually did leave some material. I didn't realize there were going to be 800 people in the room. And so I'm sure it's gone back there, but if you want some material, there's a sign-up sheet, I think. If not, come and see me, and I'll send you all the material, including a project book of all of the projects that are happening right now around the world. Thank you.